Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 2024 Latinx Kidlit Book Festival. We are so excited to have you here today. Before we begin, please read our anti-harassment policy in the chat box linked here. And don't forget to subscribe to the Latinx Kidlit Book Festival's YouTube channel. And if you are a school, classroom, librarian, or educator joining us, our school visit fund is back. You can enter to win a free visit from a Latinx author or illustrator for your classroom or library. You can find the link to the entry form in the chat. Now, for folks who don't know me, my name is Olivia Abtahi. I am a Latina young adult, middle grade, and picture book author. My most recent book, published, I believe, 3 weeks ago, is Twin Flames. And it follows twins Layla and Bianca, who are Iranian and Argentinian, like me. Now, before we get started with the game, I'm going to go around the panel and have each panelist introduce themselves. We're going to get started first with Diana Rodriguez Wallach.
Hi, everyone. So yes, my name is Diana. I am a young adult author. I have published 8 books to date. My 9th book, The Silenced, actually comes out a year from today. And my most recent books, which are YA horror, are Small Town Monsters and Hatchet Girls. Hatchet Girls came out a year ago, and the paperback is coming out in October. It sort of reimagines Lizzie Borden. So what would happen if a similar crime were to take place in the hometown of Lizzie Borden, which is Fall River, Massachusetts, today? And in doing my research, I learned that Fall River has a whole lot of spooky history that goes far beyond Lizzie Borden, including one of the most haunted forests in the world. And I got to include all of that research in the book.
Love it. Thank you so much, Diana. Louangie, you just had a book come out. Please tell us more about yourself and your debut.
Hi, I'm Louangie Bou-Montes, and yeah, I debuted 10 days ago. And my book is Till the Last Beat of My Heart, and it is not a horror book, but my main character is a horror aficionado, and there are some horror vibes because I'm from Western Massachusetts, they're from Western Massachusetts, and I mean, we're like, for me, in my opinion, we're like fall central. So it's a romance, it's a bit spooky, and it's a lot of fun, I think. And I did a lot of research just from my whole life living in Western Mass. Yeah, that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Louangie. And last but not least, we have Vincent Tirado, and you might see their kitty cat Bugsy if you're lucky. Vincent, take it away.
Yeah, so my book that came out, this one came out last year, We Don't Swim Here. It's a little bit like if Candyman were about swimming pools. So these 2 Black cousins who are now living in the same town, one of them who just moved in is trying to figure out why everyone is so afraid of swimming, because she loves swimming. She wants to be like an Olympic medalist. And the cousin who has lived in that town all her life is trying to get her to stay away from like all the secrets and all the just like everything spooky that's going on with the town. And the 2 end up clashing and just like trying to sort of uncovering a decades-long mystery. So yeah, that one's We Don't Swim Here.
Thank you so much, Vincent. Now we're going to head off into our actual game. This is going to be a really fun opportunity for all of the panelists to kind of choose their own adventure. We're going to have 2 options on every screen that I will be reading off, and then everybody is welcome to take their own path. So we're going to have screen share now so that we can share the survive this panel portion. All right, so I'm going to guide your main character through some thrills and chills. Although I must say all of your books had a lot of thrills and chills. I don't know how many more I can handle, but we'll get started. We start right before graduation. You've worked all summer at your parents' mortuary. Not the most glamorous job, but you're saving for college, or at least you thought you were. Your parents reveal that they had to use your college deposit for their business, but hey, at least they got you a birthday present. A ring made of iron, just like your father's. You, option number 1, thank them for the gift and save the freak out for later. Or option number 2, freak out now. There is no time like the present. And I'll just kick it off and say, I would freak out now if my parents use my college fund for their own business because I am about to graduate and I need to go to college. That's important to me. What about you, Vincent? What would you choose?
I'm gonna freak out now because what do you mean I've been working the whole summer and like now I can't afford to go to college? Like I would have burned down the building. Like all of us gotta die now.
Okay, fair. Louangie, same?
No, I think I would probably passive aggressively thank them for the gift and internally freak out for a while and then try to figure out what they needed my college money for and then probably freak out alone or with friends.
Okay. Demur, very mindful. Love it. Diana?
Oh, I would definitely freak out. Yeah, I mean, my father's side of the family is Puerto Rican. It's not a very quiet family where you like don't, you speak your mind is encouraged and welcome. So I think I would have a lot of emotions and no difficulty expressing those.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It sounds like we're all gonna freak out at some point, basically. All right, so from there, we're going to go to our next slide. After you cry for a good 30 minutes, it's back to work preparing for a funeral. While you prepare, it feels like eyes are watching you from across the room, but the only thing there is the gentle rustling of the fireplace and a closed casket. Those are my spooky fingers. Let's see. First, enter the local school snob who, at his grandmother's funeral, comes to you with an odd request. He'll pay you $1,000 to break into his grandmother's home in search of an old family will. What do? Decline. You need the money, but not enough to commit a crime. Or do you accept the offer? You need the money for college. All right, Diana, can you kick us off? What would you do?
Sure. So I'd have some follow-up questions like, is there a security system? Okay, like how old is the house? Because I'm a Gen Xer and we knew how to break into our houses pretty easily because we were all latchkey kids. So if this is one of like those old split levels, I could pretty easily pop the screen off of a window. Like I still have that skill set. So assuming that there is no security system, I think I would accept the offer because I need the money for college.
You mean like, are we talking shag carpeting or like millennial hardwood floors?
I mean, if it's a grandmother's house, I feel like that would be easy to get into. This is not a new house with modern windows. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. You're casing the joint, which I always appreciate. What about you, Louangie?
I mean, I feel like what I would do is not on the screen. I would be like $1,000, really? Like 1,000? It's not enough to get me into college. And if there's a will involved, like, okay, what kind of money? Like, let's do at least a 30-70 split of that will money if that's what they're trying to do. But I guess I'm not really in a position to decline, so I'd accept and I'd give it my best shot.
Okay, like that. You're negotiating for some royalties, some percentages here. Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Vincent?
So I'm Black, and I don't think I'm gonna want to do all that. I'm not trying to get the cops called on me. It's not happening. Also, $1,000 is definitely not enough. Like, just off. And also, Like, generally, if this is your grandmother's house, why can't you just walk up in there? Like, it's your grandmother's house. Why do you need me to break in for? I would decline. I would simply decline.
Like, give me the key.
That's not breaking in then.
Yeah.
I think I'm on the same boat as you, Vincent. It's like if the money can't match the bail, then like it's just not
Right.
gonna happen. I think I need a bigger offer than that. Also, I'm just such a wuss. Like if someone was like, "Who's there? Who's trying to break into my house?" I'd be the first person to be like, "It's me. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna go. Like, bye." So I see where you're coming from. All right. Next scenario. The next day, you receive a very unwelcome reminder. You need your tuition deposit stat, or they'll give away your spot. And staying in this town is the last thing you want to do. Fine, you'll hear him out, but you'll need more than just 1,000 to escape to make tuition. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so in the next week, you meet with the snob one more time to go over details. Turns out the family house you're breaking into is the local haunted mansion. You know, the one that people never escape from. Do you, number one, change your mind? No one said anything about haunted. Or two, keep going. You need this money. Louangie, how about you?
People never escape from? No. No.
Okay.
Just no.
Fair enough. Also, how much money are we talking about here? Like
Major factor. That was the first thing I thought of. Exactly how much money now have you negotiated for? Like, because this is sort of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Like, how much are we talking? Is it worth it or not? If it's going to cover your whole tuition, like if it's like big grandmother money, it might be worth giving it a shot.
Big
Die
grandmother,
for college?
yes.
I don't know.
What's worse? Give me money or you co-sign my loan for college.
Yeah.
Where's that option? What about you, Vincent? I already see your face.
So I'm petty, right? And I'm already mad at my parents for spending my money. I'm not gonna do this because I need the money, but on the off chance of like, yo, this is super haunted, people don't escape from it, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna do it just to piss off my parents or like make them worried about me. Like if there's a chance that I'm not coming back, well, you shouldn't have spent my tuition money. Like, how about that? Now we're all upset. So I'm petty. I'm going to keep going, not because I need the money, but just to like make my parents upset.
All right. Well, let's choose keep going. Let's see where this happens. We're gonna yes and this slide. All right. So in a stroke of genius, you propose an end of the year party. You can charge for entry and use the commotion to hide your searching for the will. Okay, that's clever. I like that. The night before the party, you have a strange dream filled with fire, holes in the walls, and glowing eyes. When you wake up from the nightmare, the iron ring is warm against your skin. But still, the party must go on. The night of the party starts off well. You might even make enough to pay your deposit after all. Time to look for that family will. The will should be in the library, but when you enter, there's a group of teens holding a seance. They do not look happy to see you, and they were there first. You, number one, tell them to leave. It's hard to be sneaky with an audience. Or number two, pretend you left something in the room and try to find the will while they're distracted. Okay, I'll just go first. I want to eavesdrop on a seance, like always and forever. I'm gonna pretend to dust some shelves, refill some drinks, like look for this will, but also I want to see who they're communing with. So I'm definitely gonna pretend I left something in the room. What about you guys?
I'm also gonna pretend I left something, not because I like care enough about what they're doing. It seems like more of a hassle to argue with them to leave. So I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I just left something. Y'all continue on. I'll just be looking for my thing.
Okay, smart. Kind of path of least resistance there. Louangie, what about you?
I feel so contrarian. Like I never want to pick the popular answer, but I feel like I would just like pretend to be possessed or something and be like, "You must leave this place. You don't know what you're doing," and then have them get out. But I don't know. For the sake of following the Scooby crew, I'll say we can all pretend. We'll pretend something.
You can go wherever you want. No worries. What about you, Diana?
I think I would join the seance. I mean, I definitely grew up with the sleepovers where you did the Bloody Mary in the bathroom and the light as a
Yep.
feather
Light as
and
a
all
feather.
of that. I feel like I have enough experience that I could move this seance along a little quicker. So then when it was done, I could search the room without the audience.
Okay, I respect that. You knew how to push a Ouija board like
Yes.
around. Sounds like this is your wheelhouse. All right, well then let's choose pretend you left something in the room. Turns out you do find something. In between your classmates trying to summon the dead, you find a hidden button on a vintage desk. When you press it, a small door pops open. Ooh, okay. Inside is the will along with several stacks of cash. Okay, finally, we're getting somewhere. You now have the will and possibly enough money to pay for your education. All you have to do is take it. Do you? Number one, please. It's already in my pocket now. All you have to do is exit the room. Or number two, grabbing the will is one thing, stealing money is another. You leave the cash behind and move toward the door. Anybody have any strong thoughts on this? Because that money's
Yes,
mine.
I do. Yeah, that money's. No, I'm like, I feel like there was no point where I actually got to negotiate for more than $1,000, and I got a lot of pressure to come into this house and to break into this. Like, there was so much on me that that money is mine. Like, this is my fee. This is my collector's fee.
This is my larceny fee, collector's fee. I am my own agent, and this is what I have negotiated on my behalf.
Exactly.
So this makes sense. What about you, Diana?
I would take the money, but I probably would disclose it to whoever I made the deal with and like offer some sort of split here. Like this is how much I found. We negotiated X percentage of this will. That percentage should carry over to the cash that I found. Here is your chunk. So then I don't end up with any like scary men showing up at my door at some point, knowing that there should have been cash there and having to deal with a life or death situation down the line.
Okay, that's very responsible of you, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. That's very wholesome and smart. Okay, we'll allow that. What about you, Vincent?
Initially, I was like conflicted because I'm personally not someone who takes money that's clearly not mine. However, considering like all of the steps I've already gone through to get to this point, and also the fact that like this rich classmate is rich. They don't need the money. Their grandmother sure as hell doesn't need the money. She's dead. Like, I consider it reparations to just take it.
Exactly.
I need the money for, like, clearly I'm not doing so hot. Like, I did all of this just so I could go to college. Like, clearly I'm not doing very well. I'm going to take the money.
You see, my thing, I'm more afraid of humans than I am the supernatural. So I'm like, I can go in the haunted house. Like, I'm not afraid the humans will get me, but I am slightly more afraid, that the ghosts will get me. I'm more afraid that the humans on the other side of this money are the ones that are going to go bump in the night. That's where I draw my line.
Fair enough.
Ooh, okay, fair. I think for me, I'm kind of like, these bills, no one knows what marking they have on them. Okay, like these serial numbers, these are lost to the wind. And they don't even know there's money there. It's like back then, the money is so old that college probably cost $100. Now it is $60K a semester. So, all right, we're going to choose, please. It's already in my pocket. Now all you have to do is exit the room. No one can leave the room. In fact, no one can leave the house. Doors and windows are sealed shut or disappeared altogether. Your classmates freak out, certain they summoned a ghost. Okay, this is not good. This is no time to panic, despite that everyone around you is, in fact, panicking. You try the door one more time. It opens. Everyone rushes out, pushing you down. The door slams once again, trapping you in the room. Then you notice there's a second door. The ring on your hand starts to warm. Do you, one, try the main door again, or two, try the second door? Louangie?
I guess if the ring started to warm when I noticed the second door, I'm going to try the second door. I feel like it's probably not the wise decision, but I'm already here. I'm probably like, they already said that I'm not going to get out of here. And I'm just going to go for it.
Right. In for a penny, in for a pound. What about you,
Exactly,
Vincent?
yeah.
I think I'm gonna try the main door because it's already right there, and then if that doesn't work, then I'll do the second door. Like I just whatever, like the main door just seems closest to me right now, so I would try that first, and then the second door.
Okay, fair, Diana.
I think I go for the second door. You know, if the first door already slammed shut and it's locked, and you've already, established that one, you might as well start looking for your other exits. I mean, we've all seen locked room movies plenty of times. You got to look for your vents. You got to check your windows. You got to find all your exits out of there. So you got to give it a shot.
Do you think this house has central air, Diana? Okay. But fair enough. All right. I would probably, I'm just going to be honest here, I would try the main door again. My friends are on the other side of that door. Help is probably on the other side of that door. I just don't want to be alone and locked in the house. Plus, I am feeling guilty about the money that is burning a hole in my pocket. And I'm thinking, wow, I totally deserve this. The evil eye has turned its gaze upon me. Like, this is it. So I would try the main door again. But I think for the purpose of this panel, we will choose try the second door. Uh-oh, there is nothing but darkness behind the second door. But what choice do you have? After a deep breath, you rush in, landing among sand dunes in a place you've never been. The voice has followed, or perhaps they were waiting all along. Uh-oh, sand dunes. The voice reveals they're a djinn, and you are the key to opening a bridge between realms. The djinn are weakening, and they need human bodies to continue. What better than those of your fellow classmates now stuck in this house? Uh-oh. You notice the ring on your finger begins to heat up. It's so hot you remove the ring, noticing small flames flickering on your fingers. The voice gives you a choice. Join them willingly, becoming the bridge that would allow them to cross to take the bodies and eventually rule the land, or be taken by force and eventually perish. Option 1, sure, why not? Or option 2, LOL, no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to mess willingly. You're gonna have to fight me for it. Like, there's no way you're taking me willingly anywhere. I saw Oprah. You do not get yourself taken to a second location. All right, like if this is going down, it's going down right now. So
that's true. That is absolutely true.
I don't want to mess with djinn. I do not want to fight djinn. I feel like I'm not fighting and being forced and eventually perishing at the hands of djinn. I'm sure why nodding it.
Okay, that's fair. Plus, I feel like you're on their home turf, like if you're in sand dunes and stuff, and you were just inside probably a very well-appointed haunted mansion. So the cognitive disconnect here would also be messing with you. Vincent, what about you? I see some deep meditation on this question.
It's because, okay, the caveat to all this is oh my God, magic is real. That's my realization. This is now breaking my worldview a little bit. Now I have to really deeply consider my values. Once again, it's one of those situations. And I probably would say, sure, why not? Because I'm very curious. I want to know all about the magic, and I want to see everything. However, what would stop me is allowing them to take the bodies, because rich people are one thing, but these are also my classmates. They didn't do anything wrong. I don't want those bodies to be taken. Let me invite the mayor first, or some other the local police department. I don't know. Let me invite some people who deserve to be taken, but not these kids. I would say no at that point. It's just because it's just not worth it for my conscience.
Dude, I don't know, them or me. I can't. Not to be like that, but no way.
I'm just a curious person. I want to know about it, but not at the expense of people that didn't deserve it, Yeah.
I just don't want to fight them. I really don't want to fight djinn.
I mean, I feel bad because I think this question might be a little bit from my book with the djinn, but y'all, djinn don't mess around. I feel like if I make a deal with the djinn, they're such tricksters that they're still going to come for me anyway. I don't know where they stop. And also being the bridge, what does that entail? Is this a 24/7 job? Is it one and done? How
also,
many souls?
the fact that the fact that they're like, oh, we need your help, and it's like, oh, so you're not as powerful as I thought you were. Okay, well,
Because they're lying.
that's embarrassing. Like, you need a 17-year-old. That's embarrassing for you. Like, why would you admit that? You could not waterboard that information out of me if I was a djinn.
What if it's not true? What if it's not true?
That they don't need you?
What if they're just trying to swindle me? I don't know.
I mean, I feel like there are much more clever ways to do that for me, you know? Like, I'm a very easy person to, like, get one over on, that if you feel like you have to, like, do all this extra work, it's just, it looks embarrassing for you. Like, I'm so sorry. You have, like, the world at your fingertips. You have all this magic, and you decided, yeah, let me, like, trick a 17-year-old. Like, do you also enjoy taking candies from babies? Like, is that where your mindset is at? Like, aim higher for yourself.
Vincent, what do you think Bugsy would choose?
Bugsy, he would for sure, like, become the bridge. He'd be like, yeah, as long as you, like, feed me super well.
Okay, your cat is easily bought, which I can appreciate. I think for me, I would say no, and I'd use my iron ring, because Jen can't stand iron. And so I would probably, like, Sailor Moon, like, hold up. Yeah, just like something, and like maybe it would go like, I don't know, like supernova on them. Not sure, unclear, but I think, okay, so I've already lost the plot. Who chose sure, why not? And who chose LOL no, because the answers
I'll go with
blurry.
what the Scooby Crew says. I think I was the only one who said I'll do it. So if the Scooby Crew says LOL no, then I'm here with you with the iron ring, and we'll like Sailor Moon.
I'm going with no.
Okay, all right. Okay, awesome. Let's go with no. You are nothing, the voice says with a wicked laugh. It rushes forward, but before it can get to you, heat builds in your hands, the flames growing. With the start, you realize you can control this flame. You embrace the anger, and the flames shoot forward, hitting the djinn. He screams. Your flames burn the djinn. He laughs. The flames cannot hurt the djinn. Okay, so like Secret Sailor Mars moment, I feel. What do y'all think the djinn would react? How the djinn would react? You think he'd scream and the flames would burn, or he would laugh? Like,
it depends how
evil
close we
cartoon
are to
villain.
the end of the book. I mean, if we're still in the middle,
is this rising action?
Definitely laughing.
Well, I feel like with the insider knowledge, though, that Iron
just laughed, then he's definitely screaming.
Well, I feel like he'd probably scream, because up until this moment, I did not have sudden flame powers, Like, this was something that only fully activated now that I'm in the realm of the djinn. So I just like kind of connecting the two dots, I assume, like, okay, this thing can hurt him. Like, it might be the only thing that can hurt him.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I like that. I'm torn, because I know djinn are made of smokeless flame. It's like a very specific kind of fire, but maybe this is like a strong human fire. I don't know. Like, blue fire burns hotter. Like, what color fire is this? Is it green fire? That's toxic, right? It's not from oxygen. Some nefarious, like, I know way too much about this. Sorry. I swear I haven't peeked ahead. But like, is it a green fire that's like with toxic air? Like, what are we going for? So I am also going to go with screams. Your flames burn the djinn. And hopefully that's like a weapon against the djinn. Let's go with that one.
Yeah.
You're not sure how, but you tumble back into the house, closing the door behind you. Exiting the room, you realize no one remembers they're in danger. Uh-oh, some amnesia. You have to get everyone out before the djinn try again. No one knows the doors to the house are locked, but a few of your classmates have noticed the blazing eyes staring at them from various windows. There must be other portals in the house. You realize you'll have to destroy the whole thing to stop them from crossing over. Okay, this is a little too spooky for me. All right, I'm sweating now. You use your newly acquired fire to burn down the front door. How does it go? All right. Option 1, it takes a moment, but the flames destroy the door, allowing your classmates to escape. Or option 2, you cannot open the door. You hear a familiar laugh behind you. Oh my gosh. Okay. Y'all are used to horror and scary things. I'm the little rom-com writer on this panel. Vincent, tell us what to do.
Okay, I'm assuming that the doors are magically locked. So maybe that can, even if it doesn't destroy the door, maybe it destroys the magic on the door and I can like open the door. So I'm going to choose that. It takes a moment, but the flames destroy the door, allowing the classmates to escape.
Okay, okay. Wow. The classmates that you didn't like before, who you kind of felt ambivalent about, now we're saving their lives.
I mean, it's more of like, if I give you a chance to escape and you don't take it, then like, I'm clean. I did my job. I tried, you didn't listen. I can go home now. Like I can clock out. It's done.
Like your conscience is clear. Like
yeah, I made an attempt, you didn't listen. That's on you. That's not on me.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, it's like a normal house as much as we know. Like the house itself, the structure of it isn't magical. So fire should burn wood in all cases. So you might as well go for it and see if people can get out of the door if you use the fire. So I would at least give it a shot and see what happens. Because then you risk burning inside the house if you can't get out. But it might be worth a
wait.
shot.
Did not think of that part. I guess fire spreads.
I feel like I wanted to not be able to open the door. Like I don't know. I like, Evil Dead, like just like one person making it to the end in my horror. So I don't want everybody to make it out. I don't know. It's kind of, I mean, I don't know. If that's really what you guys want, then that's
my final girl. The final girl is superhuman, and she definitely has some extra. She can take as many stab wounds as possible. She can get blown up. She can fall from buildings and still get back up. So,
but how are you going to explain that to their parents? Like,
I'm not.
Because after you cannot explain, like it was your party. Like you decided all this. Like I dropped my kids off. Why did they not get home? I would not be able to answer those questions. I would be like, I plead the fifth.
You wouldn't find me answering those questions. I'd be like, I'm in shock. I don't know. I've forgotten everything. Like that was just such a scary moment, and I can't even speak. Like I'm not answering no questions. Why would anybody?
Superpowers now? They're going to be scared of you. It's like Carrie at the prom, right?
Yeah,
like
don't be asking me nothing. Like it's all good.
Oh my gosh! All right, I feel like this party is out of control. Honestly, it will be talked about for generations to come. At least this house party is that epic. Okay, so it sounds like we're going to choose. It takes a moment, but the flames destroy the door, and I'm guessing destroy the house, which is like the portals to like all of these other villains, right? So I'm hoping that by doing that, we're going to make this choice. I hope it's the right choice. I hope we're freed of this villain. So let's choose. It takes a moment, but the flames destroy the door, allowing your classmates to escape. Ooh, okay. Once outside, you watch as the flames engulf the house. Okay, yay. That means that the portals are closed, closing the gateways. You're safe, but without the will, the money. You're safe without the will and the money, but hey, you're alive and have superpowers. Congrats. Guys, we did it. We made it through.
I'm upset. Hold on. What do you mean I don't have the will or the money?
Wait, where'd it go?
I came here with one plan, and I had to save all these people, and you know what? I have superpowers. I'm just gonna milk that for like cash somehow.
Have to monetize it. You're gonna have to monetize the firepower. There's got to be a way to like utilize this skill set to make a little cash on the side.
Start a TikTok, like just starting a TikTok. Be like, hey guys, look at my super cool powers.
Yeah, I haven't seen Firestarter in a really long time. That Stephen King one. What does Drew Barrymore do with her fire powers? Like, how do they use it? The government's going to want you. That's the other thing. That's what always happens in these scenarios.
Okay, but can you become a contractor? Like, is there? Yes. Can they pay for university?
Yes,
right.
Definitely be an assassin. I mean, that's a useful.
Well, you could also just like open a restaurant and then burn it down and collect insurance money.
Children, don't do that,
kids.
Don't do that.
Professionals only. As horror writers, I guess my question is, was this thrilling for you? Because I know, Louangie, technically yours is more spooky than horror, but you are a horror aficionado yourself. Because like I'm breaking into a cold sweat and I'm seeing the light in your eyes just get brighter and brighter. So how did that feel for you all?
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I wanted to lose. I really did. I love a sad ending for horror.
Oh,
Plus, when
really?
it's
Oh my gosh.
nostalgic, it's very much a choose your own adventure, which were like the classic 80s novels, which I think they sort of have
Yes.
brought back in
Yes.
various ways, but I used to love those.
I never survived those. Every single time I picked up one of those books, like no matter what, I always died before I get to the end, and it would always piss me off.
Yeah.
I remember those. And I do think that there's some like newer versions or like reprints because sometimes I think when you're a young kid, you think, oh, this is the answer I should choose. And then you get to the end and you're like, wait, I feel cheated.
Right.
You always have
but
to
yeah.
go back to see what was that one decision you made in the book that made it all go wrong.
Yes,
You know, like,
yes.
you're like,
Oh
Like
flipping
me
through.
with my life when I'm thinking about it. Yeah, like all the time.
Exactly.
Well, I think we do have time for a Q&A, if that all sounds good to you. And I know that we have some audience questions as well. So, Rachel, if we could cue those up. Ooh, great question from Erica. It's, have any of you actually been to a haunted house? And I'm going to kick it off with Diana because she was just talking about this before we started the panel. So, great question, Erica.
Yes. So as I mentioned, my most recent book, Hatchet Girls, is derived from the story of Lizzie Borden, who was a woman who lived in the late 1800s and stood trial for killing her parents with an axe. Okay. And it was like the OJ trial was the trial of the century. And she lived in Massachusetts. Her house is still standing. And you can not only just visit the house where her parents perished, you can sleep over. And I slept in Lizzie Borden's house. I slept in the maid's room, who is considered by many to have been an accomplice to the crime at bare minimum. She had to stand trial because the day after the murder, she burned Lizzie's dress in the backyard and just claimed that it was just general maintenance, just so happened to be dress burning day. And she got off. Lizzie Borden got off. She was acquitted, though she will be forever remembered as a notorious, axe on a liver. But she was acquitted. It's
I never
an
knew that.
interesting account. When I slept there, they have all these ghost tours. The scariest parts of the house, they have a basement that is like a full, just like dirty cement basement that actually had a bedroom in there. Like somebody could have slept in the creepy basement if they wanted to. I don't know why anyone would choose that option. So I thought the basement was a little creepy. And you have breakfast in the morning in their dining room. And that is the room where they performed the autopsies on the bodies before because it's the 1800s. They're like, we're just going to do them right here. We're just going to do it right here in the dining room. And so you're like eating at the table. I woke up at one point in the middle of the night and I scanned my phone around the room. And I do have this video on my website that does show like a circular orb bounce through it a little bit. So it's whether or not you believe in the ghost orbs or not. But I did see, something sort of like jot through. And then when I got home, I live in the suburbs and I have one of those Ring doorbells on my front door so you can see who's knocking. And my Ring doorbell just started going off all the time. And there was nobody there. You would just see this flash of light and then it would just recede. And it would just randomly was happening all day. And so one of my friends told me to talk to the ghost who followed me home and asked them to please leave. And so I did. And I'm going to be honest, it stopped. It actually stopped. I was like, can you please stop ringing my doorbell? Like, this is like, I've got things to do because my phone kept blowing up and it stopped after that.
I am horrified. This sounds so scary. You are glowing from within recounting this tale. I can just see. That's incredible and not at all what I thought you were going to say.
Because I dragged him along for this and he was like, I can't believe I actually did this. This is not what I signed on for. When, he married me, I wrote about hotels. I was a reporter. He's like, this was not.
Well, you are. You're writing about hotels now, I guess. I also have a Ring doorbell, so wow, that's good to know. Has anyone else ever stayed or been to a haunted house or location?
I haven't been to a haunted. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. You can go.
I haven't been to a haunted house, but I grew up in Northampton, Massachusetts, and I don't know if any of you've heard of the like Northampton State Hospital, but it was like a notoriously like haunted location. There was just like a lot of mistreatment at that. It was like a mental hospital, and then it was like cleared out. They just like flushed everybody out into the streets. And a lot of people, like, you know, over like many decades died in like misery because it was a terrible hospital. And as like for fun, in high school, we used to like break in and
Oh my
like
gosh.
and
Of
like
course you
take
did.
photos and stuff and like look for orbs and whatever. And I did that a couple of times, but that's like the only haunted location I've spent any time in.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Vincent? What were you gonna say?
I've lived in many haunted places because I grew up in the Bronx, which you'll understand what I mean by like so many haunted places if you read my first book, Burn Down, Rise Up. Because so much of the Bronx is definitely haunted for a variety of reasons. But my earliest story would be from when I was a kid. So I asked my mom about this. After I was born, she took me home and was like getting situated and everything. But like around the same time every day, I would wake up in hysterics, and my mom wouldn't be able to tell what's going on. A couple of times she would hear the sound of a rocking chair, even though we didn't own one, right? And so one day she got fed up with all the crying that she went to the landlord and was just kind of like, "Hey, so what's the deal with the apartment?" And the landlord looks at her and is like, "Please don't tell me you're going to move out too." And she's just like, "Could you just tell me what the deal is?" And the landlord told her that the last tenant had died in in a rocking chair in the house, and so every time people would come by, they would hear the sound of a rocking chair, even though there wasn't one, and like no one would like take the apartment, like they would always move out within the like the first couple of months. So my mom got my grandmother and a bunch of church ladies to come to the house and like, you know, put
Ooh.
oil in the corners and like pray over it. And ever since then, like there would be like no more sounds of rocking chair, and I like slept peacefully.
Wait, that's amazing. And like,
Yeah.
could you negotiate with the landlord, like for like a rent decrease? Like, if you're using your own holy water, like, come on.
I mean, I don't know, but like that was something that happened when I was a kid, and I was like, oh damn. Well, I mean, okay, that's fine with me. I don't remember that, so I'm
Oh my
good.
gosh, wild. Well, I don't know if this counts, but I went to New York University for my undergraduate degree in Lower Manhattan. And I went to school every day in a building that used to be called the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. And the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, for folks who don't know, and I'm sure young folks on here are going to be learning about this in class, but it was a big garment factory. And this is kind of like industrialized time in Manhattan where workers aren't treated very well. And a fire broke out. And back then, they would unfortunately lock the doors so people would keep working and they couldn't go out on smoke breaks or get fresh air. And when the fire broke out, they weren't able to unlock the doors, or they just kept the doors locked. So a lot of people unfortunately died in that fire. And so it was like so many people passed away. It was really unfortunate. And um, that's where I would go to class every day for school for a lot of my core classes. So the like legend had it that you could still hear the screams of people. So little creepy. I don't think I ever heard anything. Other classmates swore they heard something, but yeah, that's as creepy as I get, and I'm not super into creepy stuff. So maybe that's why I have like such limited opportunities. All right, we have a couple other questions. Let's see. We have some audience questions actually that are from Ines Lozano. For all, how do your family slash friends deal with your spooky slash horror research? Do you have spooky artifacts or conversations that scare them? Anybody want to jump in
Yes,
first?
yes, I will. I just had my launch party you know, when it came out. And my mom was there, and my aunties were there and whatever, and they all remember me from before I liked scary things. And in fact, before I liked scary things, I absolutely hated scary things. So like until I was like 15, I was so scared of everything that like when Halloween would come around and like the like like the normal like CVS or whatever has like scary stuff like masks and stuff, I would walk like this so I couldn't see them. And I wouldn't go trick or treating because I was so scared of masks and like scarecrows and like jack-o'-lanterns. Everything scared me. And so at my launch party, my mom was like, "So why? Like, why? You used to be so scared all the time. Like you wouldn't even like let us go just in our neighborhood trick or treating with you." And that's basically how they've taken it. Like they're still kind of wondering why. But for me, the thing that turned me into a horror fanatic was Saw. So the movie.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So after that,
So
so they
what,
just
how? How did that
how
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I was like determined to stop being such a coward about everything. And I so I started watching scary movies, but I couldn't get through them. And then I watched Saw, and for some reason I was able to like do that and enjoy that. And I started watching it so much that it became my comfort movie. So I
Oh
would
my
like watch
gosh.
it. I would watch like not comfort, but I don't know. I would watch like another scary movie and get really scared, and then I'd put Saw on because it would make me feel relaxed. So yeah, that's how I train myself to like scary things. But yeah, my family still likes to make fun of me, so that's how they take my spooky research.
My family is a bunch of chickens. I was raised Catholic, so they believe everything. They believe in the demons, they believe in the ghosts. So my parents read my first 6 books. They have not read my 2 horror novels. They're absolutely like too scared of them. My brother is constantly worried about like some demonic entity is going to attach itself to me. When we were kids, my sister had a walking doll, which was like this 3-foot doll that if you held its hand, it walked with you. I don't know who thought that this, like what toy manufacturer thought that this would be a great thing for kids to play with. We were terrified of this doll. And so whenever someone was sleeping, we would move the doll into the room and have it standing like right next to their bed. So when you
Oh
open
my
the
gosh.
the doll was just standing there.
Cool.
My mom had to throw it out because it became such like a scene with this walking doll. I remember I got tarot cards in high school, and that was it. Like you might as well have like invited the devil itself and like put out dinner. So my family is definitely afraid of all of that. I don't know if they will ever read my horror books, but they come to all my book signings and they buy them. So, like, that's the good thing.
That counts. That's support. I love that.
My family also is not very much into horror. They're very the Pentecostal Christians, so they like Diana's family, like believe in like all that stuff, and they're just like, oh, this is demonic and stuff. And like a lot of like my parents like friends or whatever are like constantly like, oh, but doesn't your daughter know that it's all, demons or whatever? And they're just like, listen, they get paid for it, so we're just not gonna say anything. As for creepy artifacts, I do have one real quick. I'm gonna grab it off the side.
Okay, that chair
I
is
bought
amazing.
this. I bought this like at Comic-Con. It is a dead bat encased in resin.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. My parents absolutely hate it. They don't understand why I like it so much, but I'm just like I'm super into this.
I'm happy you're happy. I am I'm going to go the opposite way. I am a notorious coward. I cannot deal with suspense. It's actually not even horror, it's suspense. Like I can like barely like pop the can of like Pillsbury's biscuits without like having a nervous breakdown because I'm like, when is it going to pop? Like who knows? It just makes me anxious. So I am not a huge horror person, but I do like dark stories, and I would say I love middle grade horror, which you all will scoff at, but there's some really good ones, like the Catherine Arden quartet of Loud Voices. That's a great one. But yeah, that's as much horror as I can do. All right, we've got another question. Ooh, what's your favorite Latina folk story or scary monster? Does anybody have one?
For me, it would be La Ciguapa. In the
Ooh.
Dominican Republic. It's this creature that like looks like a woman, has very long dark hair that like kind of always obscures her face, and her feet are backwards. Yeah, and like she's not really like a malicious entity. I don't think. Like she's fond of like children, I guess, but like she's not like eating the children. It's not like that deep. And she's also just like, I guess, very shy. So she's not like always like coming around to like spy on you or do anything malicious. Like she's just kind of like there. So for me, it's just La Ciguapa.
La Cigua. Oh, guapa. Okay. I feel like there's a lot of like crone lore of like childless women who like maybe wanted a family or children near them. Yeah, and I feel like that fits into that whole family.
Yeah.
Does anyone else?
Right? Is that the one? The movie
La Llorona?
Yeah.
I feel like that's another, kind of in
I think
that.
that's a different, I don't think that one's La Ciguapa, but that is like another one that's, I think, a little bit more malicious.
Yeah. But like another like crone, like how dare this woman be on her own?
Yeah.
Kind of legend. Is La Llorona yours, Diana?
Yeah, I didn't really. My parents never threatened me with those when I was growing up. So my mom's Polish, my dad's Puerto Rican. So what they had in common was Catholicism. So what they just sort of like threatened us with going to hell. That was what was put into our heads. So we were more scared of like the priests and the nuns in the church than anything else.
Louangie, what about you?
Well, I'm Puerto Rican, and I was growing up in the 90s during like the chupacabra craze. So I feel like I have really fond memories of the chupacabra. I was like obsessed as a kid because I thought it was cute for some reason. I feel like the like image that they had of it was like a cute little golem looking thing. So I was really into it as like a cute thing. But my partner's Mexican, and I don't know if this is like a folkloric thing or not, but like his family used to scare him with this idea of el charro sin cabeza. And like
wait, what is that? What is a charro sin cabeza?
It's like from what has been described to me, it's like sort of like a cowboy sort of thing, but like he wears like a sarape, like, and there's no head. And so so like his uncles would like cover like their heads with sarape and like put like a like hat over it, so it's like there's neck and hat and like no head, and like chase them around. So I don't know if that's just like something they made up or not, but I love that story and I think it's like super sweet. I mean, not sweet, I guess they're scaring a child, but like I think it's really cute and funny. So I think it's also one of my favorites just from my partner.
And for folks who don't know, can you explain what a chupacabra is?
Oh yeah. It's a cute little golem creature that sucks the blood of goats. And it was all over the TV, at least in like Univision. It was like all all over the like news in the 90s for some reason.
It was like crop circles and chupacabras were like always in like the same news cycle. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, Argentina doesn't have as many like Argentine specific legends. Most of it is like a lot of like the indigenous lore that I think we lost since Argentina was colonized by Europe, probably like more thoroughly than other countries in South America. But yeah, for me, I really just grew up with like, I have to throw salt over my shoulder while I'm cooking. And I think that might be more Italian than anything. And then on my Iranian side, it was the evil eye always. And like the djinn, like if, you don't cover your feet at night with your blanket, like a pally will suck the blood out of your toes, or like the sleep paralysis djinn. Like my dad said there was a cold sore djinn who would like bite the corners of your mouth and give you cold sore. So I'm always like, was that real, or did you just want me to go to bed? We'll never know. All right. Well, we only have a couple minutes left. So before we go, I would love to go through the panel and just ask, what's next for y'all? What are you working on? What's coming up? Our young readers would love to know. Diana?
Okay. My next book is The Silenced. It comes out in fall of 2025, and it is set in my hometown, and it's based a little on what Louangie was saying about the mental hospital. Near my hometown, there was a girls' reform school called Slayton Farms. It really did exist. It's I think it's the first reform school in America. It opened in 1826.
Sorry, what's a reform school for folks who don't know?
Where kids were sent if they were like arrested and sent through the courts. It was sort of less than prison, I guess, because there was also a juvenile detention center not far away from this reform school. So there was Glen Mills was the girls' school and Slayton Farms was the boys' school. Both have since been shut down. Glen Mills for abusing its students in like 2018, and Slayton Farms was shut down just for financial reasons in 2001. And Slayton Farm still sits today. It's on land that was owned by William Penn. It is the original farmhouses that date back to the 1800s. It's a collection of little farmhouses. There was no wall, there's no fence. And if you go there today, all the buildings are just rotting and completely spray painted and very urban explorer. So I've walked through a few of them, not too far in because I was by myself and I was like, and it's technically trespassing.
Children, don't try this at home.
So like I just sort of like peeked in, but I have some videos on my website of where I stood on this desk that somebody else had left outside of the church window, and you could look through the window because all the glass is broken, and it's so spray painted and so creepy looking, this like old chapel. So the silence is a dual timeline of the last group of girls that were at the farm before it shut down, and then a current timeline of today, a girl who goes there exploring and ends up with a ghost haunting her when she returns. So it sort of shows both sides of the story.
Oh, I love that. I also love how you're like an amateur like ghost hunter, and like you're like, you can see the footage on my website. Everyone check out Tana's website to see all the footage.
The scariest part, like I said, I'm more scared of humans. The scariest part, you'll see the one building I don't go in. I zoom in. I was like, that looks like a sleeping bag because they've had a lot of vagrancy there, and you know it's been empty for 20 years. You do have a lot of people who are squatting there. And can you believe it or not, I turned the book in to my editor this summer. 2 days later, one of the buildings burned down.
Whoa.
and in the book, I claim that the school shut down because of a fire, but that's not actually what happened. Like it was just for financial reasons. So I turned it in, and then there's a fire. So I don't know. There might be something.
You should write a book where I like win the lottery just to see what will happen.
Just see what happens. Yeah. You know?
Just to see.
Vincent, what about you? What's up next?
So unfortunately, my next book isn't a young adult. It is an adult novel, but I can tell you all what it's about anyways. So it is like a Dominican Knives Out. So this very wealthy family, very wealthy Dominican family gets together for the reading of the will because the family patriarch has died. It's like the grandfather. His name is Papi Ramon. And so everyone's getting together to read the will. The lawyer shows up. He's just like, all right, really sorry for your loss. Let's just get this done before the storm rolls in. And he opens up the will and he gives a big heaving sigh, like, you know, why would you do this to me? And then he reads and he says, if you're reading this, I'm dead. But one of you is not who you say you are. One of you is the demon that I made a pact with many years ago. You have to figure out which one of you is the demon or you'll all be damned. And at first the family is like, what kind of BS is this? You know, get the previous will, you know, let's find out what he wrote before then. And the lawyer is like, all right, I got to go back to the office. So he leaves, storm comes in, and over the course of just one night, which is the whole book, a scandal after scandal comes out about the family. So now they're starting to kind of turn on each other and accusing each other of being a demon. And so you have to figure out who is the demon by the end of the book.
Okay, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And Louangie, we have 2 minutes left. We'd love to hear what's up next for you.
Luckily I don't really have anything up next just yet. I'm on submission with something. But I mean, since it's not picked up by anybody, I can tell you it's like a ghost rom-com sort of. And I call this one a Zom rom-com because
Zom-com?
Zom rom-com. It's a bit funny. I think it's funny anyway, because my love interest is undead. And then you know, in the next book, one of the love interests is very dead. So
I love that. Well, we've got 1 minute left. I'll just talk about what's coming up next for me. My next book is coming out in January, and it's a picture book called The Interpreter, or La Intérprete, and it follows Cecilia as she struggles to interpret English to Spanish. So I've pitched it as Boss Baby meets Severance, because she is dividing herself into, she's disassociating and she's dividing her work with her childhood. Everyone here, I'm sure, had to explain something to their parents. And in this book, Cecilia, she has a suit and tie for when she's interpreting, and then she's trying really hard to just be a kid who plays soccer. Oh my gosh, Vincent, your face. So
it's because as soon as you said Severance, I was like, Severance? Yes! That is an insane comp title. Like,
I think a lot of us, when we code switch, we put that part of ourselves away. So I just wanted to share that for kiddos. So that'll be up in January. And I just wanted to say thank you all so much for being a part of this panel. It's been so wonderful talking to you all. We're out of time, but I just want to say thank you for attending the Latinx Kidlit Book Festival, Survive this panel, and gracias por estar con nosotros en el Latinx Kidlit Book Festival. Thank you, everyone, so much. This has been so fun. And thank you, Bugsy. You've been amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.